Okay. All right. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. I want to start this morning by honoring the lives of two giants who left us this week, one local and one on our state level. We were saddened by the loss, but celebrate the life of Savannah's Queen Mother in Ministry. I call her Apostle Dr. Idell Williams Cheever, the founder of the Pentecostal Miracle Deliverance Center. She was a trailblazer in every sense of the word, and her ministry of more than 60 years birthed clergy, churches, and believers worldwide. Long before there were all of the televangelists across our nation, she was on TV here in Savannah. When I was a young boy, I used to come here on Sundays and come here during the summers. And I hope that you'll take the time to look at the impact and certainly the doors that she opened, the barriers that she broke for women in ministry across our country. I certainly adored her, but I take comfort in knowing that she is where she preached that she wanted to be, and that's in the presence of God. And so I extend our prayers to her loving family that took so good care of her, and of course the Pentecostal Miracle Deliverance Center family. And I understand that the arrangements have been released for next week. We're also saddened by the loss of a faithful, iconic Georgia public servant, Senator Johnny Isaacson. And Senator Isaacson has the distinction of being the only Georgian ever to be elected to the State House, the State Senate, the United States House of Representatives, and the United States Senate. He represented Georgia and Savannah with class and dignity, and he was not afraid to work across political lines, racial lines, economic lines to get things done for the benefit of Georgians. Had the opportunity to know him and to be in his presence on many occasions, and although sometimes our ideologies were different, he was someone that always listened, and I appreciate him for allowing us to make our case. And so may his memory be a blessing, and may his service always be remembered by us here in Georgia, and specifically here in Savannah. Last night, I was on the scene of an officer-involved shooting in the 1900 block of Vassar Street in Liberty City. As I understand it, no officers were injured, and a suspect was transported to a local hospital with serious injuries. As is our protocol in these cases, we do not investigate ourselves. So the entire investigation is conducted by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. So that's the extent of my comments, and that's going to be the extent of our comments regarding the situation, correct? Anything else will come from someone else. Yes? Yes. So don't ask any questions. I don't have any answers for you. Any further comments, information, updates will come from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Yesterday, I met with our medical advisory team, and in accordance with their advice, I'm reinstituting Savannah's mask mandate, effective immediately and until further notice. Winston Churchill says that healthy citizens are the greatest asset that any country can have. And I will interpret that to mean that healthy citizens is the greatest asset any city can have. The case for doing this, my case for doing this, is clear and convincing. Statewide, new case numbers are increasing significantly, primarily in the northern metro areas. We have seen an increase over the past couple of weeks locally, but not crazy increases like the rest of the country yet. The community transmission index was 66 3 weeks ago. It's exactly double that today, 132. And fortunately, our hospitalizations have not increased significantly yet either. Demand for testing has remained steady for the past several weeks, although that seems to be increasing this week. Demand for vaccination through the health department has increased significantly just yesterday and today, including an increase in primary series vaccinations for children, which is a good thing. The bottom line is for us is that the Omicron variant has rapidly overtaken the Delta variant in many parts of the country, including the Atlanta area. And just in the last 10 days, the CDC estimates that the Omicron variant is now the predominant strain in the United States. And there's no reason to expect that we will not experience the same here in coastal Georgia. We know that the Omicron variant is already here and that it will overtake the Delta variant and will become dominant very soon. And so we've been fortunate to have escaped a huge surge so far, and now is the time for us to do all we can do to mitigate the oncoming wave. We know it's coming, and so we need to prepare proactively for that to happen. We know that vaccines prevent harm, so the key to this still is vaccination. 32% of our county that are fully vaccinated have been boosted. And we know that's not enough. We need more people to be boosted. And so far, 16% of our general population here are boosted. If you or someone you love is not yet vaccinated, please seriously consider joining those of us that are. If you or someone you love is vaccinated but yet not boosted, please consider a booster as soon as you are eligible, and it's available for anyone ages 16 and older. Booster doses can be considered treatment now, as several of our current therapies seem ineffective versus Omicron. Right now, according to the CDC, COVID-19 vaccine distribution and administration data tracker, Georgia rates 45 out of 50 states and the District of Columbia with a statewide vaccination rate of 24.1%. Thus, for us, prevention is our best treatment. Our methods remain the same: vaccination, boosters, wear a mask, watch your distance, wash your hands. Exercise caution and common sense. Avoid crowds, especially activities that involve sharing indoor air with others. And we know this is the week of Christmas, and this is the time where people get together. And I am pleading with our citizens. Make sure if you're getting with folks, get with folks that are vaccinated. And in all cases, go ahead and wear the mask. Go ahead and wear the mask. You don't want this Christmas to be your last Christmas. Even though vaccination is not 100% effective in preventing infection, it is still highly effective in preventing severe illness, hospitalizations, and death. And even though one who is vaccinated can still become infected, being vaccinated helps one clear the infection quickly and shortens the period when one can spread it to others, which means that these people are less likely to end up in the hospitals, and they help keep our health system at its best capacity, and it does not overburden our healthcare heroes. Vaccine and booster recommendations apply to those who have previously had COVID and have recovered as well. Prior infection or recovery is very poor protection versus Omicron. I've heard people say this, that, I've had it already. Well, if you've been infected and you've recovered, it does not necessarily work against Omicron without the additional protection of vaccination. Influenza, the good old flu, is also rearing its ugly head. Last year, because of masks, we had record low influenza infections. is coming back. And if you're not yet vaccinated for the flu like I am, please consider getting your flu shot ASAP. What I'm asking is for our business partners to continue to partner with us by requiring masks at their businesses. Be very clear. We're asking you to require a mask in your businesses. I'm asking our business owners to continue protecting their valued employees, my valued citizens, by requiring them to wear masks as well. We can only get through this if we can do this together. Here in city buildings, we are now requiring masks, and so the city manager has issued directives as it relates to mask wearing in public buildings. You must wear a mask. If we can keep our infections and hospitalizations in check like we did before, we will be able to continue to enjoy the benefits of an active, healthy economy. If we are not able to do that, if our numbers continue to climb, if we're not heeding the warnings, we will have no choice but again to resort to the cancellation of events and the ordering of capacity limits like we did before. We remember what that feels like, and we don't want to go back there. But rest assured that we'll start canceling events in late January and February and March if our situation does not improve. We are the city of hospitality, and we welcome Santa Claus to Savannah. But when he gets here, he should be vaccinated, he should be boosted, and he should wear a mask. Everybody will know exactly who he is. This afternoon, we will celebrate Savannah's first black mayor, Mayor Floyd Adams Jr., at a grand opening of the city services complex named in his honor. This year marks the 25th anniversary of his historic win, and I am thrilled to recognize my friend and mentor, Mayor Adams, in this way. This multi-million-dollar complex houses hundreds of city employees and gives 17 departments working at the site greater opportunities to coordinate and collaborate, providing more efficient services to residents. The Adams Complex is also a part of the city's strategic plan to move staff out of leased buildings and into owned buildings to reduce ongoing operational costs. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about today. I'm excited that this is happening at this time. Mayor Adams' family, his wife, children, family will be there as well as all of the living mayors of the city of Savannah and the council members. So this is a big family reunion for us, masked, of course. As we get closer to the opening of the new in-market arena, I had the opportunity to tour it again on Saturday. The city is focused on minimizing traffic impacts to the surrounding neighborhoods and implementing a temporary parking plan. We knew that the arena would open and be finished on time and on budget. We were also very clear that some of the infrastructure around it would not be ready all at the same time. So the two main road projects at Stiles Avenue and Gwinnett Street, along with the construction of some of the parking lots, will lag behind the opening of the arena. However, to minimize disruption to the neighborhoods, we have already met with the neighborhoods, the city manager, myself, and we are working with OVG with some of the top traffic consultants in the country to develop a short-term traffic plan. So while the situation is not ideal, it is only temporary. Our first ticketed event to our new arena will take place on January the 14th. And those who are living closest to the site will receive information directly from the city about potential impacts, but should expect higher traffic volumes any hours immediately before and after events. And we want to make sure they know that so they can plan their travel accordingly. Event ticket holders planning to drive and park near the arena will need to reserve a parking space in a temporary parking lot in advance. And then they will receive specific instructions about the route to take to that parking spot. And details will be sent to the email used to purchase event tickets within the next couple of weeks. There will be a dedicated location for rideshare drop-off and pickup, and a free trolley from the historic district to the arena site will also be available. It is essential for event goers to follow the directions provided if they're planning to drive and park to reduce traffic backups and neighborhood impacts. We will not tolerate intrusion into the neighborhoods that is unauthorized. And so for people who try to do those types of things, they might find their vehicles towed. The city will also implement measures to discourage event attendees in parking in these residential areas. So again, we want to be very, very clear. We have a plan, we're going to work that plan, and we need people to comply with that plan. The opening of the in-market arena is a huge milestone for our community, over 20 years in the making, and I am excited about it, but it's also a tremendous change. And so we're going to need everybody on board doing their part to make this transition as smooth as possible until we have a more permanent infrastructure improvement, and those we expect to be completed in 2022. I would also like to provide the latest information on the ongoing situation with the Clearview homes. Yesterday, I, along with the city manager and the assistant city manager, met with the developer to discuss Clearview Apartments and working together as we move forward. And be very, very clear, we expressed not only our disappointment and frustration about how things were handled. We know that as of today, there are 3 residents remaining on the property, 3. We also know that 2 of the tenants are dealing with some disabilities, and the developers, Cardinal, has committed to working with them closely to get them temporary housing for the next 3 months at an extended stay. But they're also working with some of our partners to get those residents permanent placement into housing. The 3rd resident has indicated that he will be moving out in the next few weeks, but he has a housing barrier due to his pets. If an issue occurs, the developer will work to get the resident a temporary housing solution. Regarding the writ of disposition, or dispossessories that the developer has taken with their attorney, the developer has spoken with their attorney, and they have informed them not to move forward on any disposition or eviction notices. The attorney will be sending a file on all tenants that were issued a writ of disposition or dispossessory in November and in December by my and the city manager's request that they will be working to find a new local attorney to remove the dispositions. In short, we recognize that dispossessories and evictions on records are a barrier, and so because this did not happen in the way that we were told it would happen, we're asking for Cardinal, through their attorneys, to approach the courts to have those dispossessories removed from these tenants' records. The developer will follow up with a report once they have done their due diligence, and will make sure that these are removed from the records as soon as possible. And so I have also asked for monthly reports so that we are kept in the loop about what is happening. Yesterday, the Savannah City Council held its final meeting of 2021, and as the year rapidly draws to a close, we continue still to do the business of the city. We approved a $19.3 million contract for upgrades to lift station number 23 and Forest Main replacement. Lift station number 23 serves the West Savannah and the Chatham Parkway corridor, pumping millions of gallons of untreated sewage east across historic downtown from the foot of the Talmadge Bridge to the President Street treatment plant. The existing 20-inch diameter forest main is 48 years old and is in poor condition. As we work to keep Savannah beautiful, the council approved a contract for scrap tire disposal and the purchasing of 3 new dump trucks to supplement our sanitation department's litter crew. We also happily adopted Savannah's 100% clean energy plan. The clean energy plan went from being an idea to an initiative to now an adopted plan. And our clean energy plan consists of 45 high-level strategies that fall into 5 key categories: energy efficiency, renewable energy, transportation and mobility, community and economic development, and education and engagement. And these strategies were developed through a robust stakeholder process that included 4 community-based working groups, a council-appointed advisory group, and targeted outreach to different constituencies across the city. I'm looking forward to getting this plan moving forward to meet our aggressive goals of 100% renewable energy community-wide by 2035 and 100% renewable energy for all energy needs by 2050. As I said yesterday, I am grateful for our city council, your city council, their diligence and their passion. I am grateful for Team Savannah, our city manager, our city attorney, our city clerk, all of our executive team. I'm grateful for our middle management, and I'm grateful for our first line supervisors, and I'm grateful for those who day in and day out get the job done. And yesterday we had the opportunity to recognize 2 sets of employees that get the job done every single day. And you will see us recognizing and publicly thanking Team Savannah. It's a poor frog that doesn't praise its own pond. And so as we think about that, I want to take the opportunity to thank Nick Zola, Amanda, Chris, Ken, Wayne, and Ariel for being a superb public communications team. They make these things happen. They make it happen in here, they make it happen in there, they make it happen on the road, they make it happen wherever I need to be. And so, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for what you do. And we also thank our PIOs across our community for helping interface with you. I committed when I became mayor that we were going to tell our own story. And so these wonderful professionals help us to tell our own stories. And so we're looking forward to that. Come January, our city will be a $15 an hour city. And there's been a lot of talk about that. It's really interesting. I stand by it. You cannot expect people to get out of poverty while paying poverty wages. And so I'll be challenging in 2022 businesses to follow our lead. It wasn't easy for us either, but we were committed to doing it, and it's going to happen. We also valued our employees, many receiving an 8% raise. We can't do that all the time. But the fact was, we need to make sure we build our own team. We have all-stars that do a whole bunch of wonderful things, and we want that opportunity to thank them for doing that. And to give you all a break, this is my last news conference of this year. And so I want to thank all of you for coming out week in and week out. I think we've done maybe 52 of these. I think we've pretty much done one every week. And so thank you, thank your networks for following us, your publications for following us. Thank you for being partners for us. We've had things we've wanted to get out, you've helped us get them out. And individually, thank you all for just allowing us to tell our side of the story. May not always be good news, but thank you for allowing us to say our piece. And so I wish every Savannian safe and fun celebrations with their loved ones, and I wish them a happy and Merry Christmas, a happy Kwanzaa, and a New Year holiday season. That ends my prepared comments, and I'll answer any questions you may have. Good morning.
I first want to ask about the mask mandates.
Yes.
So what do you say to organizers who might be planning events right now? Even the Market Arena, they have these events coming up. They're talking about potentially canceling them if the numbers go up.
We own the Market Arena. We own it. Again, we have a choice about how we handle this. We keep our numbers in check. We keep on like we've been doing. Our numbers explode, then we have to take the proper action. So my advice to event organizers, and again, we've made it clear to those at our arena now, they're supposed to require for a certain number of events over, I believe, 60% vaccination, proof of vaccination or proof of a negative test. Again, we control this, so we can have a little inconvenience now and be better later, or we can do like we want to do and we suffer the consequences. Our entire community suffers. I think that our city has shown that we will do what it takes to protect our citizens, and that's what we're going to do. So hence why it's so important for our business community to go ahead and let's get with the program, let's work it together, let's require these masks to help people to be safe. We have people coming here from all over the world, and when they come, whatever they have, they're bringing with them. We have people coming from our neighboring communities that have vaccination rates in the 20s and 30s. Again, whatever they bring here, we it stays here, and so we have to protect Savannah, and this helps us get there. Masks, vaccinations, and being boosted.
So that protection, could that look like postponing the opening date of the Market Arena?
It could be anything. Again, it just depends on where our numbers are.
My next question, as far as enforcement goes of the mask mandate, at least in the city buildings, during the first mask mandate, there were 7 citations issued. What does this enforcement look like? Is that different, or will that be the same process?
Well, the enforcement is really, we can enforce city buildings. Again, I think people can do what they want to do. Understand that there is a consequence for that. So, are we riding out and ticketing people? Probably not. But we also recognize what increased numbers mean for our community. We have done well when individuals took individual responsibility to say, this is what we're requiring. And so I'm asking our business community to do the right thing. Do what's going to keep us viable. There is a reason why Savannah is doing so well as opposed to many of our cities across the country. It's because we work together and we follow the science. And so, we don't want to sacrifice a couple of weeks of inconvenience for months of hurt.
Okay, one more question.
Sure.
So you talked about the Clearview development. The city has expressed surprise in these evictions occurring before the end of the year. My big question with that is, was there a contractual written agreement between the city and Cardinal Capital that these residents, their lease would be extended to the end of the year?
No, there was not a contractual agreement because the city is not a partner. This is a landlord-tenant relationship. So legally, the city has no role in that at all, so we would not have a contract with Cardinal. What we did do is we advocated on behalf of our residents, and Cardinal agreed. And in my mind, a verbal agreement is an agreement. They said, okay, well, then we won't evict till December 31st. So in my mind, in the city manager's mind, December 31st is December 31st. So then on December 7th or so, when evictions are occurring, we're like, well, wait a minute, that's not what you said. So no, there's not a contractual agreement because we don't have a legal standing for a contractual agreement.
Okay, so the surprise that you all expressed, I understand this. Those residents, they trust their city government when they tell them that they can stay. And my concern is that on your end, there's an expression of the same level of surprise when these people were entrusting you to tell them that they could stay.
That's why I was mad, because the city manager talks often about a credibility bank. When we believed that we had worked out a viable solution for Clearview. And keep in mind, the folks in Clearview understand that it's dilapidated and need to be knocked down. And many were making preparations to move. They expected they would have until the 31st of December to come up with, to leave, and they're working out options. So when it happened earlier, of course, it surprised all of us. And of course, why it frustrated me was because, again, we told people that Cardinal had agreed. So they're looking at us saying, well, you told us, and we're looking at Cardinal saying, you told us. And so that was a serious breach of credibility, and to be very, very clear, we made that clear to Cardinal when we met with them yesterday. We did not like how it went down. They should have communicated better. We're now beyond that. They're going to make it right, and they want to continue to build this project.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Mayor and
Good morning, sir.
Do you have any further comment on the reprimand for Alderman Gibson Carter at the top of the meeting last night?
You would ask that, right? It was unfortunate. It was unfortunate. And I think that council has been patient. And I asked council not to move forward on a censure after the ethics hearing. You know, hey, let's just try to work this stuff out. We teach our young people not to call people names. And the fact of the matter was that a very incendiary name was called to a council member was called a name that was very incendiary. And it's a hateful name. And we as city leaders should exercise better behavior. People did not send us here to call people names. We should, by the nature of who we are, disagree. We come from different backgrounds. We have different goals. We have different constituencies at times. So we should disagree. We should have differences of opinion. But it should never, ever degenerate to the point of name calling. And so therefore, if you remember, once it went down, I asked Alderwoman Gibson Carter, did you say it? And she told me she was not going to answer. Okay, well, I looked at the tape, I looked at the council minutes, and it says clearly that's what she said. To also that staff heard her say it. The minutes for council were sent out. It says in the minutes that that's what she called him. The entire council, inclusive of the alderwoman, approved the minutes, hence certifying that that's what happened. Further, the reprimand was on the agenda that went out to council members on Friday. So again, no smoke and mirrors here. I think the attempt was to be able to deal with the issue, deal with the behavior, move on. As you see, it moved on into something else. I'm not going to tolerate that. And I'm not going to tolerate any member of council treating another member of council that way. People should expect better from us. And, you know, hopefully the holidays will help us to move on from that. But, you know, you deal with it as it comes. I mean, I work with young people, and I hope every day that they see me act in a manner that is representative of being one of their elected servants. And I think people expect that from all of us. And so, you know, this has happened before. On more than one occasion, of staff and employees and allegations being made that are well documented. It needed to stop. And so the official action, although symbolic, was taken, and we move on. hopefully, we can move past this and continue the rest about 2 years together. So, but other than that, the behavior is not going to be tolerated.
Do you foresee taking any further action past the reprimand?
No, as far as I was concerned, as it related to that, I gave her an opportunity to address it. She, again, on the record, on the 9th, refused to do so. Reprimand was made, and it passed 6-3. And the reprimand was for calling a fellow alderman racist. And so as far as I'm concerned, behavior occurred, the action happened, council voted, and I'm done with it.
Sure. I want to ask about the waterworks survey for the building use.
Yes.
When will there be an update on that?
I do not know. I do not have. Yeah, yeah. Or we'll sit down and learn this afternoon. Let's just sit down, but I don't know where we are. We'll check.
And then one more question kind of about mask mandate, COVID and everything. You know, with New Year's Eve next week, obviously a lot of people are going to be gathering at bars, indoors. Do you foresee, maybe if cases keep going up, putting a capacity limit before then, or any more restrictions?
I didn't hear you.
With New Year's Eve next week, a lot of people will be gathering inside bars, businesses, stuff like that. Do you foresee maybe putting in capacity limits before then, or any more restrictions before New Year's Eve?
It's possible. Again, everything's on the table. We'll look and see where we are. We're looking at our numbers daily. And again, we're in full control of our destiny as it relates to this. You don't have to get COVID. There are things that you can do. You can wear a mask, you can wash your hands, you can watch your distance, you can be vaccinated, you can be boosted, you can get your flu shot. So I'm asking Savannahans to do what they can do to help to mitigate our risk and keep people safe so that we can continue living our best lives.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
Hello, and to the voice from beyond.
There may be a question that's here. Just preparing you.
You're fine.
Piggybacking on Brian's question, there was the possibility of any more restrictions before the new year. Certain cities around the country, Chicago, LA, Boston, have required vaccination status or proof of that before entering certain establishments. Is that something that you would consider here, if not in private businesses, in public buildings?
It is something I would consider. Again, we're evaluating some things that work in some states. Again, some states are a lot more progressive in terms of COVID remediation than Georgia is. And so their attitudes are different, so cities have a little bit more flexibility. So we're looking to see what works for us, what's viable for us. Again, I've been to New York on the last couple of occasions, and to get into a restaurant, you had to show your proof of vaccination card. If you did not show it, you could not come in. Again, that keeps the business safe, that keeps the employees safe, it keeps the customers safe. So I'm looking across the country to see what works, and then talking with our teams to see what we can do to help keep people safe.
And again, just to be clear, the status of events like the Martin Luther King Jr. Day Parade here in the city, as well
Still
as
on.
the fireworks also for New Year's Eve. What's the status on that?
Right now, everything is still on. This is a period in which our community can decide very clearly, where do we want to go? We can go to the path of liberation, we can go to the path of restriction. And then that's totally up to us. So the Martin Luther King Jr. Parade is still on, as far as I'm concerned. The fireworks are still on, as far as I'm concerned. However, we will not hesitate to pull the plug if our numbers drastically increase.
And what is that threshold that health experts have conveyed to you where the plug is?
It's a combination of things. So again, right now we are, according to the Community Transmission Index, we are high, and this has been it's been different. Usually our highs do like this. Our highs have been much more directed. So we're just watching. We're watching, And again, every Savannian and every visitor to our community has the opportunity to do what they can. This is not a city thing, this is a community thing. Our green sign is out there back underneath our reef, but we get to help determine by everybody doing what they can do.
Switching up here just a little bit on the Middle Arena project.
Yes.
Been hearing that the DOT shuttle might be considered to get people to and from the arena. Is that a possibility, especially with this temporary
The what?
traffic plant, the DOT shuttle?
Oh,
That might be considered to be used?
I have not seen all of the transportation plan. Again, we have some of the top transportation consultants because we wanted to be very clear that we did not impact the community. We wanted to move people in a way that made sense, yet not to intrude on the surrounding community. So I suspect that we will use whatever we can to be able to help move people to and from in an expeditious way. And so that could include the shuttle, I'm not sure.
Also, the parklet program. I know we were anticipating the beginning of the new year getting that action plan, so definitely excited to hear what's in the works there. Can you give us
I do not have an update. I have asked the city manager. I expected that we would have it for adoption this year to start next year. So I'll have an update probably first conference of next year. But it's my full expectation that we will have a parklet program for 2022.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you again, all of you, so much, and hopefully we'll look forward to seeing you this afternoon. What time? 2 o'clock for a grand time as we celebrate Mayor Adams. Again, have a really safe, happy, blessed, restful holiday. Thank you.